will help CMC, you know, the sprays that will open the doors. It will decongest your campus. I said, okay. So we gave permission, we got everything ready. It's only 3 months now. He says, I handle 90 deliveries a month. Labor room is full. Can you give us more space? I said, sorry, Nihal, we can't. We don't have money, you have to manage. So Chittoor is really vibrant. That's the inpatient facility. It looks pretty cool. 120 beds are operational. There are 5 operating theaters. And really fantastic lab there. Most of the point of care and diagnostics can be done. Very few tests have to be sent to the main hospital. So you look at the theater list. Again, there is a waiting list there also. Some departments have been banned from going there because lists are full. So that's the best blessing that we have. One may say there is a bane in terms of numbers, but that is our blessing. There is never a dearth of patients teaching material. So already there is a huge plan in place for the Chittoor campus. We don't have the resources now to do it, but what we've done is done a master campus planning for the Chittoor campus. We have the luxury of space there, which we don't have in Vellore. It's about 600 acres of good land, nice roads leading up to it, about 10 kilometers from Chittoor, 30 kilometers from Vellore, ideally situated, 2 campuses. So a master plan has been done for the campus, and God willing, over the next 15-20 years, we would have a very large center there. But one of the questions that have been posed to us, this is going to be another CMC. Why are you duplicating the same thing just 30 kilometers away? So what we are thinking is whether this should be something different in terms of focusing on high-level secondary care with relevant tertiary care rather than duplicating what is there in CMC. Something innovative we should do, skill development and other allied health training, maybe dental college. So these are things that we are looking at for Chittoor. So phase 1 will have 300 beds, and over several phases we hope to have 1,500 beds in this campus. Now, these are projects that are happening now. So what was decided by the executive and the council is we cannot take on too many projects at the same time. So we'll give you 1 crore a month for capital, equipment and growth. And Nihal has been saving up some money, and so you're going to have, the first one is going to be faculty houses, A, B, and E-type quarters. The second one is a working women's hostel for our nurses and other allied health people. And this actually is the equivalent of a chatram. Batch of 91 has contributed about 60 plus lakhs to construct a chatram for the poor patients to stay. I think you will be aware that we have a chatram near our hospital campus. But this looks really nice and posh. These are expected to be completed by the end of this year. So if anyone is coming there, we welcome you to visit these campuses and have a look at these new projects. What has been exciting for us in Chittoor is that there's a lot of training that is already happening. So the allied health training has started, and we were so blessed to find a property about 1.5 kilometers from the Chittoor campus, which used to be an art school with library, dormitory, computer rooms, all there. So we have just rented it out at 3 lakhs a month. College of Nursing is there, without needing to put in the money to build the infrastructure. So the inspections have been completed. We are hoping, God willing, we get the permissions to start the BSc nursing course in Chittoor this year. And we are looking at, from the educational model, a bottom-up approach of education in Chittoor, where you start with allied health, then nursing, and finally the medical college. The government has been pressurizing us to start a medical college as soon as possible in Chittoor, but we want to take it slowly, ensure that the hospital is developed before medical college comes in. This is the artist's view of Nihal's dream of how he wants the nursing college to be in Chittoor. So this will happen in stages over the next few years. Moving on to the environment within. I think all of you will be familiar with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And we find that CMC gives you almost everything. Physiological needs, safety, belonging, sense of esteem wherever you go. But I think what we have put forth to our community is, what do we give back to CMC and society at large? That is something all of us need to reflect on. But in this context, we are also looking at our identity and how we are perceived by the world. What are our shared assumptions? Are they true? Are we realizing our full potential as a community, and are we building each other up? Now, these are the different ways by which our logo is used. And there are several inconsistencies in our name, the strapline, the logo. So we are trying to streamline it through a team that is looking at it, and hopefully we'll come up with some simple solutions to the way CMC is going to be represented to the community at large. Towards this, we have done a survey, but parallelly we are also looking at how do we expand the footprint in the social media domain. It's going to be a little tricky, but many people say that by 2025, people will be accessing the mobiles or the social network platform for any information on health. We need to be there ahead of time. So we have again enlisted the help of an expert on this domain. So this is the shared assumptions that we are putting to our community. Christian Medical College seeks to have compassionate, price-centered, ethical, cost-effective, quality healthcare that is enabled by technology, that is empowered by relevant medical education, and enhanced by transitional research. So as we grow bigger, the problem is staying as a family. And that is something that is becoming a big challenge, because we are now in multiple campuses, and when Kalikapuram comes, there is going to be another large campus. So we are again trying to brainstorm how can we enhance the sense of belonging, friendship, and continue to be a large family that brings in a sense of belonging. Very quickly, I'll talk to you about the education component. It's really been the hand of God that our undergraduate, postgraduate, and higher specialty admissions have happened over the last 2 years, since the 2017, when we could not admit a batch of undergraduates and higher specialty students. We've also been ranked the third best medical college. This ranking was done by the government, not by anybody private, so this has been very heartening to us. And even the government recognizes CMC as one of the top medical colleges. In the other rankings, the best, the week, again this year's ranking has just come out, has ranked CMC as the first among private colleges and the overall second best. As you know, it's political that it cannot be first. That's okay, we're okay with that. What was interesting was this article in India Today this year that India is not only the best, but cheap and best. It's among the cheapest medical colleges. Our undergraduate fees are still 3,000 rupees a year. All the other fees are paid to the university. Our post-graduation training fee is 400 rupees a year, and our high specialty training fee is 500 rupees a year. On top of it, we pay them a stipend, we provide them with housing and health benefits. I don't think it's a bad place to be. Of course, we work them very hard. That hasn't changed. I think we've been very blessed this year to have our alumni recognized for their contributions. Dr. Mahamud Chani got the Padma Shri Award this year, and the academic Khan became the first Indian woman to get the award. There have been other awards. I mean, people are constantly going, receiving awards. I just put down some of the awards. So we're indeed really, really blessed. Several activities. We recently had the IDEA Study Humanitarian Oration. He spoke really, really well. But we were a little worried because he's not perceived to be very favorable to the ruling government, but he spoke remarkably well. We had our alumni reunion this year, as always. We have our student mission festival that is happening at the moment. We were very fortunate to have Gladys Staines visit us, and she is delivering the oration today. And we were also able to screen the movie The Least of These. The producers were very gracious to allow us to screen at an extremely nominal cost at the Scudder Auditorium. So we were very blessed. Nearly 1,000 students come. And the impact is phenomenal. You've seen people who have attended Shiloh and decided to serve in mission hospitals and then come back for postgraduate training. So it's got tremendous impact. Very quickly, for those who have not got an idea of how we celebrated last year, centenary year, we had lots of activities throughout the year. Thanksgiving service, centenary song, fundraising concerts, public events, a lot of press coverage, illuminated lectures by people who are experts in other fields. We had the president coming and visiting us and inaugurating it. We had several book releases. We had the last year's oration by Ida Scudder's closest living relative. This was great fun. Music competition and dance competition, and Vinod said it's actually a competition where you compete to win. So all of us took it so seriously. We were practicing until 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, putting up a good show. And I personally think Lazarus was the best. These are some of our senior faculty dancing. Superb it was. So this year we are hoping to have staff entertainment. I mean, we are trying to do things that will engage the community, enthuse the community, bring them together. And that has been the strength of CMC right through these 119 years. We had lots of other events last year, like a symposium on medical education, colloquium on theology of healing, medical educators conference, and we here culminated with the release of a postal cover highlighting the 100 years of medical education. This year, as you know, is the 200th year that John Scudder came to India. So that was also celebrated in a small way. The next year is Aunt Ida's 150th birth anniversary. We're hoping to apply for a Padma Bhushan. And a few more activities are planned. So do remember us, and we'll keep you informed. There are challenges. I won't go too much into detail. You know that our selection process, very unique, time-tested, 70 years it has happened. It follows a principle of inter se merit, there is distributive justice, and the courts have consistently told that we are fair, transparent, and non-exploitatory. But over the last 3 years, we have lost almost all components of our process, which is very sad, and this has really affected the quality of trainees that we get, particularly at the higher specialty level, and less so for the postgraduate and the undergraduate levels. More and more things are brought out, regulations, and now they're trying to bring in something called an economically weaker society section quota. So there's a constant process of evolution that is happening. We were listed in the Supreme Court early this week. I got to know 2 days before I was leaving, and thankfully the case has been postponed. But the system is in a lot of flux, so I request you to continue to remember us in your prayers. So all these are actually already informed. But despite this, from the educational sector, things are continuing to happen. We were recognized for the DM in clinical biology course, first in India. We started the DM pediatric neurology and DM pulmonology this year. And by God's grace, we were able to convert all the diploma seats to degree seats. We have 195 postgraduate seats at the moment at CMC. And in the pipeline, we have more things that are happening in the education sector. Moving on to the service component, we are inching towards 3,000 beds, nearly 3 million outpatients, and 140,000 inpatients. Number of births have dropped a little bit. Really don't know why, but you see. And this is a day at CMC. At 7,294 is a little outdated. This week, Monday, we touched 9,021. All the campuses put together, 11,500 patients a day. So initially I talked about a the hospital is also ranked among the best. That has been really heartening to us. There are several challenges in the service component, need for renovations, faculty needs, efficiency issues, finances and regulations. I will very briefly touch on this. This is the emergency department. It was in a terrible state. That has been renovated, is now air conditioned. It's a new medical liquid oxygen plant. We have a fully automated biochemistry system. All you need to do is put the samples on one end. Already it's barcoded. So you go to that particular machine. So if it's thyroid function test, you do that. Then if lithium levels are supposed to be done, you go to the next machine. So it will automatically go, and when the whole process is finished, it will dump the sample at the end. And everything is transmitted electronically to the system. So this was inaugurated just last month. Some wards have been renovated. But there are space needs, as I showed, that rehab campus has been enlarged. There is a center called Anand Cardiac Center, cardiac spelled with a K, which was available to us for clinical services. So we took over this center thinking that we will try and learn something of managing two campuses. So this being a cardiologist, he had a cardiac catheterization lab and a cardiac theatre. So we converted it to a daycare and diagnostic service. So we do some daycare surgeries, we do some angiograms, and have an outpatient clinic. So we're trying to understand what are the challenges we'll have when we're trying to manage two campuses. So this has helped us. There is a facility in Filterbed Road that we took up a few years back. The St. Jude's have come up with a proposal to have children of cancers, children suffering with cancer, who can stay there during the course of treatment. It's provided free of cost to the families, and the facility also provides dry groceries, and all the family needs to do is buy the wet groceries. They have an excellent kitchen. We've also started a blood collection area in that facility so that patients don't need to come and clog up the hospital campus. And we're hoping to have a transition care facility, something called an assisted living center in 2 floors, and that project is actually supported by the FOV US. Do you remember the nursing?
Yes.
We've taken over this property. Again, there are a lot of glitches, not in taking over, but in taking over. And the work is going on. We are hoping that this will transform to a structure like this. This is going to become the orthopedic block. We're going to have 11 operating theatres, 105 low dependency beds, or 12 high dependency beds. And the project is due to complete by again the end of this year, so by January 2020, we hope to inaugurate this facility. Now, when we offered it to the orthopedicians, orthopedicians here? I should be careful. Now, they always want something very big. So when the O block was offered to them, they said, no, not the O block, the ENT theatre complex. They said, no, this will not suit our needs. So I said, okay, fine, we give it to somebody else. So again, in the building, at the beginning, we offered it to the entire orthopedic department. They said, no, this is not right, that's not right. I am tall, I can touch the roof. So finally, we sort of hopefully thought through and said, okay, we'll have a 2-division model, part of it all, part of the generic surgery. Then we called them back for discussion, said, who told me that we don't want it? So plans have to change, so hopefully they will come. So this is the first time we're experimenting on air conditioning of general wards. Not because there is a demand, but out of need. Because there is a problem with ventilation, because the central hollow that the nurses had, we have closed it, so there's no cross ventilation can happen, so we need to air condition it. So, but we hope that that will also be a new step for the orthopedicians. Prince Banner block again has been converted to services for pediatrics. Pediatrics is really congested cramp, and we are in discussions with a group in Canada who are willing to support us in constructing a pediatric subspecialty hospital. The total grant amount is about 30 million pounds, roughly. This what they're looking at. So please pray for that that will happen. So we've had lots of discussions, and Dr. George Joseph with a team of 10 members have done the entire planning for the pediatric thing. But in the interim, we have given them some space in Prince Manor. So that's a place behind chapel where we found that, not because I'm working in MICO, but that's what everybody says. So we thought we'll create a waiting area for them. And that's a completed product. It looks so seamless. Our images are really good. But there are other facilities that are coming up. The old theatre complex, it's pretty old. We want to renovate it. Our dream is to have a simulation center in the hospital campus. We are looking at taking the bone marrow transplant area facility for a simulation lab. The whole floor will be a simulation lab. We've actually applied for an ASHA grant for that this year. But we do have a SimMan 3G from the batch of 57, 58, I think, or 56, 57. So they gave us a SimMan earlier. So all that will come in the simulation center. We've also formed a committee that will look at reorganization of the current campus. As our Vice Chairman says, when Kanigapuram comes and those people move, they will say, that is special, this is Sada. So we don't want that feeling to happen, so we are trying to invest some resources in the town campus to show that they are also special. We're also looking at extending some theatres in Chad complex. We have sanctioned an additional floor in Shell campus, but they don't seem to be too interested. We have some spice here. We also want to give some additional facilities at, at Mental Health Center. I also want to say that an additional floor has been sanctioned in the LCCU, and the FOE US has actually raised funds for creating an additional floor at the low-cost effective center. We're also thinking in terms of giving them a better laboratory there, because why should those who cannot pay have inferior services? A good automated lab will give better efficiency and more accurate results. So we are thinking in terms of how we support such an initiative. Maybe FOE UK may be interested in that. There is an Institute of Public Health where we are again waiting for permissions, building permissions. This money has come from a person called Harris Berman from the US, which will be a project located in the CHTC building. Jawadi project, CMC is very committed. I think part of the problem is that there doesn't seem to be a sense that CMC is interested. So in order to show commitment, we said CMC will spend 2 crores to buy some land so that the project can take off in a better way. We want to have an inpatient facility there. So we've done a 5-year planning for the Jawadi project. We met the Collector of Tiruvannamalai and the local Tahsildar, engaged with them as to how we can get this project developed over the next few years. The mobile clinic is a project that is funded by FOE US, UK and Australia, a joint project. I think more than half the funds have come. We're looking to having a mobile project for glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy screening. So that is underway. RUSA has had some new projects, again through alumni batches that have contributed to that. I think you'll all be interested to know how we are doing financially. These are difficult times, but the Lord's provision has always been there. Our gross income is about £165 million last year, and our income and expenditure are very closely matched. And our deficit this year was quite small by God's grace, compared to the last 2 years where we really struggled because of demonetization and new changes in the taxation. Those 2 years were really difficult years. The Kanigapuram project is going to cost us £157 million. We have a bank borrowing of £93 million, and the financial disbursement model is that 57% will come from bank and 43% will be CMC's equity towards the project. We have an internal financial advisory board which meets, it was supposed to meet only once a month, but they are so enthusiastic they meet every week. Actually, it takes a huge burden off me because they worry about money and I spend it. I get the credit. There is a major fundraising drive that we have embarked on. The development office has been enlarged. We have a team of now 5-6 members which are looking at different domains of fundraising, and we've done some brochures. We're looking at different target groups. We have applied for several grants. Asha grant after a gap of 6 years. We were blessed to receive the Asha grant this year for a mother and child project. It was 4.3 crores, so a sizable amount has come. That is a MacArthur grant, $100 million grant. We are fortunate to be working with 4 or 5 institutes in the US and India. So about 2,000 odd applicants are there, and the first list of shortlisting, they downsized it to 470. We are one among the 470. We're not too hopeful of getting this, but we're looking at every source that can support the work at CMC. We're also looking at very different financial models on how we buy equipment, boom and boot, and all these modern ways of acquiring equipment. We have already tried it out, and it seems to be quite good in terms of our cash flows. The finance committee has vetted it, and they are very pleased with the way they are able to look at alternate financial models. Amongst all this, we believe that charity is the core of the institution. It should not suffer. And last year, the free work was £25 million, 222 crores, the highest ever. It's been a huge jump from the previous year, from about 169 crores to over 222 crores. So this you may have seen before. There are a whole number of charity schemes. It's a bit confusing. So what we're trying to do is make everything electronic, so that that brings in a bit of accountability, as well as we are also able to capture the data very easily. We also instituted something called Patient Medication Assistance Program, because this is one area where patients do struggle to find money to buy medications. We've set aside about 8 to 10 crores for this. It is actually underutilized. People are not using it to the extent that we want it to be used. Student subsidy untouched, currently it's about 88 crores. Now our dream is to create a charity corpus, so that those lean years when we are struggling, that the charity should continue without needing to depend on that year's revenue. So our target is 1,000 crores. It may not happen in my lifetime, but doesn't matter. The seed is sown, and we will have different types of projects towards this restricted, unrestricted grants. And when we presented this to the chairman of Fairfax International, when he had come to visit India, he said, I like that. I'll make this happen. When you come to US next time, I'll put you through to some donors. So we are going next month, so God willing, we should get something to support the charity work at CMC. A lot of regulations, fire norms, building norms. Suddenly you get a tax for 6 crores, not 6 lakhs, maybe £1 million, and you'll be wondering where it came from. So there is a lot of struggle in that domain with new regulations, new taxations that are coming, which are really hitting us. Labor regulations have become very, very tight. FCRA norms have become extremely tight, and we're often called by the intelligence bureau to say, give explanations. And so we need to be very careful in this environment how we manage our finances properly. Legal issues are also there. So we have tied up with the National Law School to start the first course, contact class program in India on law. It's called the Postgraduate Diploma in Medical Law and Ethics. We have employed 3 lawyers to be part of our team. They're extremely good. One looks at regulation, one looks at Supreme Court matters. So different things are looked at. There are about 120 legal cases, so this has really helped. Research has not lagged behind. We have last year we had about £6 million of external grants. We have more than doubled our internal grants for students and faculty. Quite a few studies have been approved last year, and we have a very proper system of accounting and tracking all the research grants. Last year, there were about 780 publications from CMC. Again, our dream is to create a research foundation with a target of over 50 crores. We have identified a spot in the new campus, Kanigappuram campus, about 25,000 square feet. where we'll create a research facility, and we are looking at how we raise funds for that. One of the good things that has happened is the government has given us a Section 35(1)(2) exemption, which means organizations that give us money for research, they can claim a 150% tax break. So we're hoping that that will raise some funds. Mission and outreach hasn't suffered. So it's a huge outreach program that is happening, continues to happen. We haven't forgotten our mission hospitals, and we have a proposal to revive a short of time. We're looking at different models. The one-on-one model, hub and spoke model, Section 8 company model, and as part of our centenary project, we are also supporting Anil and Charlie batch of 1983 who are working in South Sudan, trying to establish a school of medicine and training. I'm reading a sigh of relief. So with so many challenges, how do we survive? I believe as a Christian organization, we should be thriving, not just surviving. There are three things that we are looking at. One is we need to adapt. We need to become adjusted to new conditions and innovate. That's what we're trying to do. Engage, innovate. Second is adopt. We need to choose to take up areas of impact, influence, and change. And for want of a better word, I've used the word adapt. To bring together people for a common purpose, goal, and mission. So how can you partner with CMC? Do continue to keep the flag of CMC flying high. I think where CMC is most benefited is by being able to provide training opportunities for our faculty. I think that is so crucial in this day and age, because to be at the cutting edge, we need our faculty to be trained in those areas. We also invite people who want to come for short sabbaticals, to come and work with us. In the new campus, we are looking at different models of engaging with our alumni. You can come for 3 months or 6 months like Audrey is doing. You come to CMC also and give of your time and expertise. You can contribute to various projects as you're doing now. So many projects FOE is supporting and alumni are supporting. Number one, I request your continued prayers. I really like this song. I know who holds the future and he guides me with his hand. With God, things don't happen. Everything by His plan. And as we face tomorrow with its problems large and small, we trust the God of miracles. Give to Him for all. Thank you.
Presentation about the wonderful work that CMC is doing and hopes to do. Now you can ask for questions.
I would say that's extremely heartwarming. You can have such a comprehensive conversation in such a time you had. Dice, my friend and myself, we really want to invite Melu to come and open a campus in Wales.
Thank you. There is a saying which goes amongst Wellurites and even in the government circles, even CMC cannot replicate itself.
But Peter, I have one question for you. Among everything else that's happening in science today, to what extent Vellore is engaging with patient experiences in terms of just learning from kind of how they kind of face every day, just wandering through this million of patients books and everything, and which way actually you could learn from their experience?
I must confess that I tell my relatives don't come to CMC. Because even knowing the place is very difficult even to get things done. I remember one of Jayanti's relatives came and I just couldn't get a bed. Finally we got a bed in the dermatology ward, dental ward, and Jayanti was lying on the floor. So we have grown so quick that it has become a fairly inefficient system. So what we are trying to do in Kanikapuram is to try and address the inefficiencies and make it a more efficient system. do not know whether you use the term DOSA here, day of surgery admission. That's what it's called in Australia. So you come on the admission day, they call it something else. Okay, day surgery, yeah. So processes like that are being looked at in great detail for the Kanigappuram campus. In fact, Monday morning we spend an hour just looking at processes, making it patient friendly. So the way Kanigappuram is structured is that on one floor you have a department: outpatient, diagnostic and theatre, inpatient general, inpatient private. You just have to walk across. And when I was in Aberdeen and Prakash took me around and saw some excellent signages, I've actually forwarded it to the team there to say, pink building, green building, whatever building, and have signages. So we are constantly looking at ways of making the process better. It is difficult at the moment. But the quality management team is actually working very hard to try and improve patients' preferences. We are looking at patient satisfaction. Thankfully, over the last 5-6 years, it hasn't dropped, but we can't sit on it. 80 to 85% is the patient satisfaction, which is not bad. I'm worried now.
I'm actually working in restaurants daily. I'm getting back to the in a few months' time.
Thank God.
So is there a proposal to kind of change the pay scale and increase in that?
I tell people, we need money to survive and be comfortable. But if money is a factor that is important for you in your life, you shouldn't be in CMC. That's my point. We are trying. The thing is, the problem with CMC is that there's only one revenue source: patient care. We can increase salaries if we tax our patients more, which means they'll have to sell 2 cows instead of 1. So that is the fine line. So that's why CMC has always said we give something of ourselves so that our patients are not overburdened. So we will look at different models. We are looking at a Section 8 company. If there can be additional revenue that comes from other sources, we can certainly look at better remuneration. But at the moment, it's very tight. We chose to pay salaries 3 months back, and one of the drug companies refused to send drugs because we had an outstanding bill of 8 crores. The subsequent month, we didn't pay our builders. The workers went on strike because they couldn't pay their workers. We were conscious that our staff should not be disadvantaged because we didn't pay them. But these are the struggles that are happening inside, which we really don't pass it on to others. So, yes, it's always nice to draw a better pay scale, but sometimes it's very challenging.
JVP, before the lunch, we saw this video on the Torch of Light describing what a fantastic interviewing system we had to choose undergraduates. And fortunately, unfortunately, that's now extinct because of the need, and we can't choose our undergraduate students anymore. You alluded to that saying it's not going to affect undergraduate selection process too much. But looking forward, do you think it's going to affect the quality of students that come through Vellore for undergraduate education because we've lost that selection process?
Okay, it's a very good question. So what we do is that we do what is called a post-selection process. So we replicate the interview process with the tasks and other things post-selection. And what we found was there were much less A's than we used to have. That means we are getting more students who are probably more book-oriented, sound in knowledge, but not many extracurricular activities. And I think that brings a much rounded personality to the individual. Now, if you look at the impact of all these 3-day processes, the top 1/3 will get in anyhow, whether you use interviews or not. The bottom 1/3, whatever you do, will not get in. The in-between 1/3 may move up or down. So that's why I said At the undergraduate level, it doesn't impact too much because we still are able to take from within each diocese. It's not a national ranking where everybody comes from Delhi or Pathanamthitta, that was the That's all.
Peter, the challenge that you face is multiple sites, expanded institute. But the thing what you remember, even now, I'm sure you will say, is that the close-knit community that we had when we were there, that's what stays in your mind. That's what the CMC family is all about. How would you keep it cohesive together if you have multiple sites doing the same thing?
We still have a lot of activities. We try and innovate, like the staff entertainment is going to happen next month. We're really contemplating whether to bring an elephant. The last time it was a camel. Actually, it was on the camel. I think earlier it was on a horse or something like that. So there are activities that are there even now that brings people from multiple campuses together. Yes, the interview process was a fantastic time where we would bring people together from different walks of life. So we are looking at innovative ways of engaging with other campuses. It's not easy. But with the student community, the engagement still continues the same way. Welcomes, the farewells, the retreats, foster family, all that continues. So at the student level, I don't think it will be impacted much. But at other levels, one of the people who are here from Nellore who's doing JTF, sir, do you know me? I said no. So that's how big we have become. So it's impossible to run a grim because we are now 10,500 staff.
I have a few questions. First of all, I'm very proud to belong to Nellore. So initially when I came into the UK, I've been here 4 years. Initially I say, I am so and so, I'm from Nellore. And they say, oh, okay, where is that? My question is, I mean, when we sit here, we look at this fantastic work. I mean, amazing. The amount of work and the numbers and everything is just huge. But when people talk about institutions of prominence, they talk about Johns Hopkins, they talk about, but how come Nellore is not in that talk? Is it because we're not promoting ourselves, or is it because we're not doing something that we're meant to do something more than what we want to do?
Excellent question. Yes, you're right, we don't promote ourselves very much. CMC has never believed in publicizing. What's the metric are you using to say somebody is excellent? In fact, somebody from US told us a couple of years back in an alumni meeting, the metric is not going to be educational excellence or research excellence, but social relevance. I think when the metric changes, I'm sure CMC will be on the top, or among the top. It's not just excellence. We are excellent. There's a lot of excellence at work. There's a lot of research happening. Relevant research, relevant to the country. May not be relevant to other parts. Nobody's interested in scrub typhus or tetanus. Why would you be interested? But they are transformational. So, I hope that answers your question.
I'm glad you said those things, and I'm very proud of the presentation, proud for Vellore having attained such things. I'm one of the few who were privileged to meet Dr. Scudder when she was alive. I prayed that she would be alive even when I graduated. And my father had sent me to Vellore because if you are going to be a Christian doctor, you go to Vellore, there's no other place. So that was my ideas when I came to Vellore. When I asked my father, do you want me to get medals in the subjects, or do you want me to go to Vellore? What is? No, you choose what is priority for you. I'm not going to tell you what you want, what you should do. And it was a real privilege to have met Dr. Scudder in person. And study her life again and again. A girl who wanted to leave the heat and dust and wanted to go and have a good life, changed overnight because of something that challenged her in one night. And you all know that story. And her vision was to get the poverty and the death trap for women and children the way India was at that time. And that was her goal. Her goal was not a big medical institution, but it has become it. But she planned and what God is doing to the institution. But what I would like to tell the present generation of well-lawyers is, don't look for big things in fame and appreciation by others. Keep to the vision. Get the poverty out of India. Get the women from not dying. In today's world, women don't have to die at childbirth. And children don't have to face poverty because we have all the facilities and India has all the wealth to overcome all that. If we remember what Dr. Scudder's idea was, as Indians, we can do a lot more to better. We have done very well, and she was not for men coming into the college, and the girls who started there were fighting against the men coming and taking over women's medical college. But we think of things, but God intervenes. He doesn't plan, He acts. And in spite of Dr. Scudder's prayers for women's medical college, he's made it a big medical college. In spite of everything the girls try to stop, it's become an educational institution, globally known. And let's not look for fame and glory. Let's keep to our vision. If every student who goes out of the road has that mission, we can be proud of what they're doing and going to do. Let's not lose that.
Thank you.
And then maybe you can meet JVP in the foyer.
It's not a question, it's a comment. It's a comment. I don't know whether you all met, you have known Dr. Paul Grant. Now we very energy we went to St. Martin in Coventry. We met a man called Philip Nancy. Philip Nancy has written a book. Beautifully and wonderfully. This journalist met Paul Grant, working with the lepers in alone. And he said his life changed because he met this man, Paul Grant. And he operated, Dr. Paul Grant operated on a leper. And he could go visit him. But one day, while sleeping, he went and laid his hand on the lamp. And he laid his hand. Hello. And it got burnt again. It got burnt again, and it could not be operated again. But this man, when Nancy went to interview him, he said, well, just as a man, but if I did have leprosy, I have met a man like Paul Grant. I just want to give you one Bible verse. In him was life, and that life is the light of man. I think we all have a bit. Wherever we are, doesn't matter. That's it. Let's be ready.
Thank you very much, JVP. Thank you all for sitting through the sessions. We have a tea break now, and we're going to be back for 4:30 to start the GA.